Hey guys, I'm Chef D-Max. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today I got my guest in here, Doug DiNicola. He's my old roommate in college. We cooked a lot of Italian food together when we were young, and he's Italian from New York, family heritage in Italian cooking, and today we're doing your favorite stuffed artichokes, right?
Yes.
So exciting.
And I think a lot of people might be afraid of stuffed artichokes or artichokes in general, but it's a very simple, delicious appetizer.
I think so too, and I think you're going to see how simple this is. Click subscribe if you're not doing that already. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and ring that bell, and we'll see you back in a second. So we're back, and what we've done. Let me kind of explain what we've done, because we've actually taken our artichokes. So a lot of times you guys see these artichokes in the store, and you're like, "What the heck do I do with that?" Most of the time you buy them in a can, right? And it's just not the same, like a fresh artichoke. So right now with artichoke season, you get these beautiful artichokes for the right price. So we just took it and we cut the stem off with a knife, and then the top of it we cut. It comes to like usually a little point, and we cut that off. Right? And we took these and we put those in a pot like this, covered them with water, and then we put a little lemon juice in there. You can see there was the seeds right here. I had to get a couple seeds that fell out from the lemons, right? Because the lemons are going to help to keep it green while it's cooking. It won't turn as brown. It's still going to kind of get a little darker, but it'll help.
More attractive
It's
looking.
more attractive looking for sure. And so what we do is just squeeze a lemon in that water. And you can put a little salt in it too. And then you put a cover on it, and you want to like simmer those away for 30 minutes. It takes 30 minutes. Then I take them off the heat and let them pull them out, and we turn them upside down like this, right? In a strainer. So the juice comes out, because you can see all of these layers in here, right? Of that are going to gather that water, right? So we want that to come out.
Make sure they're fully drained.
They're fully drained and dry. Yeah. Not dry, but drained fully, right? So now we've got these beautiful cooked artichokes, right? And now we're going to make your stuffed mushrooms. So, so let's talk a little bit about your stuffing. So your classic simple stuffing is what? Just
really good seasoned breadcrumbs. And then, again, pecorino romano cheese is a favorite.
Yeah.
And then just drizzle with some olive oil and bake them in the oven.
Okay. So what we're doing today, because we had made some stuffed mushrooms, and a part of that stuffed mushroom dish, you can click up here to see how we make our stuffed mushrooms. This is basically the same thing. The only difference is this actually has chopped up mushrooms in it too.
Yeah, pretty finely chopped mushrooms.
Finely chopped mushrooms. Yeah. So the mushrooms go great with artichokes. They're marriage and made in heaven. But if you don't want to put mushrooms in, you don't have to use it. We're just going to use that because we have it, and it's going to go great with this. So,
perfect.
But if you don't want to, you can just take breadcrumbs and pecorino romano and mix them together. Now, you would recommend getting a good breadcrumb from a good grocery store, right? A freshly made one, not a boxed breadcrumb.
Yeah, right? Yeah. If you can avoid buying a store-bought boxed breadcrumb, they just don't have the flavor that you're going to get from either a gourmet store or somebody that's making real breadcrumbs.
I would agree. I would agree. So what we do sometimes, like for me, what I do is I make these olive oil breadcrumbs that are up here above. You can check out that recipe. But those olive oil breadcrumbs, we take that, and you can see these green specks in here. We just chop fresh Italian flat leaf parsley. We put that in. We put some pecorino romano in here as well. So that gave us like this great breadcrumb to use. Okay. So for you, that's what I would suggest. If you go to a bakery and they have a little package of just raw breadcrumbs for sale, you can use those. I would just go home and follow this recipe for this olive oil breadcrumbs, where you just put those in a pan with olive oil, cook them till they toast golden brown, then you cool them like this. They'll stay in an airtight container for like a couple weeks. I put them in mason jars. Don't put them in hot. That's a big thing too, because if you put them in hot right off the stove, the moisture from the heat, right, it makes them wet in there, and then that will make the breadcrumb go stale, right? So what you want to do is let them fully cool, and they'll be crispy. Then you put them in an airtight container. They'll stay for a long time. So then at that time, when you need some breadcrumbs, you just take some of those olive oil breadcrumbs out, mix them with some fresh herbs, and like I said, using fresh Italian flat leaf parsley versus using a dried parsley that they would have in a store-bought package.
Right, it's
two different-
adding.
Yeah, it's two different worlds. So.
For sure.
All right, so show us how you stuff these. So what do you do with this? Do you take the center out? Do you do anything to this?
I actually leave the center in.
Okay.
And you just want to kind of gently spread them, you know,
Okay.
so that you can get your stuffing in there.
So you
And you
pull
can
them
see
out.
these are it's well cooked because they're coming apart pretty easily.
So you leave this in.
I do.
Okay.
I mean, you could take it out.
Well, some of it has good flavor, like
Yeah, absolutely. When you get down there, but it could be a little. That could be a little spiky.
yeah, it can be a
too.
spiky.
That center part. So you can take it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
at least some of the spikes.
at least some of the spiky ones, because
Yeah.
the ones down underneath are
Right.
tender and nice, right?
And then you have a beautiful little floret here
yeah.
that you're going to stuff.
Okay. Beautiful.
So
And then also in the bottom of this, we talked about this, is your artichoke heart. So the artichoke heart is where you really want to save that to the end, right? Because that's going to be the most tender part.
right.
Okay, so now we have two. We've almost floured
Open
these
them
out,
up,
right?
yep.
Now what do you do?
Well, we'll add our stuffing.
All right, let's see how you do that.
You just kind of let me move this
Is
over.
it better just to kind of?
Kind of sprinkle, get it in there. You know, then that takes some. You know, because you have to separate them sort of, so you're kind of getting. Because when you're biting them off, you know, you
me try
bite
this
them
with you.
off.
Okay.
You want. You know, you want each of the petals to have
To have
some stuffing.
Some stuffing.
You know, and you're not going to get every single one, but you do your best to get the stuffing in all around.
Dig it in there, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me pull this way so we don't have our head in there.
Yeah, that's
There
great.
we go.
Oops, sorry.
Okay. So we're gonna put these around, and see, you actually need a pretty big baking dish, right? Because these things spread out so much, right?
Right,
Now
right.
you don't. You would say, like we talked about this earlier. This is not like an appetizer that you would really do when you're having like kind of
Fancy guests.
fancy guests that you've really never done and partied with and so forth.
Right.
It's almost like a family appetizer, right? Because you're putting your fingers in this.
Yeah, and you're picking it apart.
picking it
you
apart,
know, it's
right.
kind of an intimate thing.
Yeah, I agree.
Only with very close friends or family, I'd say.
Okay.
So other Italians, maybe.
Other Italians.
Yes.
Right?
yeah.
But that looks great. Look at that. Man.
And children love these too.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
once they learn how to
Yeah.
eat them.
Yeah, my kids love, they've always loved stuffed artichokes. I mean, stuffed artichoke is like, you know, whenever people see that out, if you're a stuffed artichoke fan, it's a go-to, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, people see it, they're like, we've got to get that.
It's kind of
Look at
something
that. I mean,
that
I
you
packed
don't.
mine up,
don't
man, huh?
Wow, you did. I got to add more. We still have to put the cheese, though. We got to put. Again, yeah, some nice
Wow.
amount of
Look at him, man.
pecorino.
He goes heavy duty, right? Look at
Yeah.
that. That looks good, though. But now, we did put some pecorino inside the stuffing.
In the stuffing, so it's already there. But this will just
But this is going to be extra.
give us a little more. Yeah,
You never have enough, right?
more is more.
More. Cheese is just,
There we go.
you never have too much, right? So
Yes.
now olive oil, do you want to put any
Yeah,
more?
we're going to drizzle the whole,
Okay.
just to give it a little bit. You know, you don't want it to be dry,
Right.
so you want to have a little bit of moisture there. I mean, you're going to get some moisture from the mushrooms, obviously.
And the artichoke.
Right.
Yeah, because the mushrooms that we put in there were uncooked. They're just chopped up mushrooms,
Right.
button mushrooms that you can chop up and put in there.
So you're going to get some, you know, water from
That
the
comes out from
mushrooms. Yeah, some moisture. But still, you want a good amount of, you know, and the
Yeah.
olive oil gives it a
Olive oil's
nice,
flavor, man.
nice flavor too.
Right.
And you're all set.
Man, look how beautiful that is.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to stick this in the oven. How long would you say it sticks at 350?
They're already,
minutes?
they're already cooked.
They're already
so you're
cooked. So
basically,
you're just baking, right?
yeah, you're baking. You want to cook down the mushroom a little bit, but they're pretty finely
Let's
chopped.
safely say 25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think you're good.
Yeah, and you really can't overcook them either. You know,
No,
so,
not unless you burnt them.
right. Yeah.
You'd have to put them in a couple hours to do that.
Right.
But I think at this point we're going to go for 350 for 30 minutes, and we're going to see what they look like. So
You're good to go.
yeah, we'll see you back in a second. Okay, guys, we're back with our artichokes, and they've been in the oven for 30 minutes, right? Look how beautiful those look. All right, it was like
Really nice.
They really like spread out. It's like a flower, right? And so from here, you just want to take it out. It's going to maybe stick a little. I'm not sure. Oops, see how it wants to fall apart. But look how moist that is, right? With olive oil. Well, it's hot though, be careful. So you can see like how these breadcrumbs have like stuck on there and on this beautiful artichoke. I'm a little scared to try. It's hot as
It's
can be.
too hot, maybe.
That's really good though. Wow.
And
Good moisture, right?
really good.
Really good moisture.
And if you haven't eaten artichokes, and not everybody has, the idea is that you scrape the meat of the artichoke with your teeth to get the meat of the artichoke.
Exactly, like the outside is going to be tough, and this tender part is going to be in the center.
Right.
So you take that and you pull, and you leave this extra, more tough part there. And that's why you're looking at these breadcrumbs in there, right? So every bite, when you take these bites, they have this flavor of this toasted bread, gives you a little bit of crunch. You got the cheese flavor.
Right.
You got the mushroom flavor.
Artichoke
The
flavor.
artichoke flavor. Oh, the artichokes themselves are just fantastic.
Right.
So,
But you can see how it's sort of an intimate kind of appetizer, you know?
it's a family appetizer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or do this with your loved one. Great Valentine's. You know, share dinner. And
Dig
I don't know anybody who doesn't love a good artichoke. So, really good, Doug. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen today, and
Cheers.
thanks for this great artichoke recipe. You guys tried it at home, and we'll see you back soon. I'm Chef Dean Max.